You look in the verses. Why did Esav want to kill Yaakov? First, a better question. Why do you want to kill Yaakov? Yeah, Esav wants to kill Yaakov. Can you sell a Bechorah? Work with Rashi. It's the kahuna. Can you sell kahuna? Can you go over to a Kohen boy and say, "Hello, Mr. Kohen, I'd like to buy your kahuna off of you," or your Leviah? Why is it different? Well, Rashi says Bechorah is the privilege or the responsibility, whichever one you make it, to bring the korbanos, the avoda, the kahuna and the avoda. That's what Rashi says, and that's what Esav sold. Why is he on that side and not the side of the Yerusha, which is the inheritance? Yes. So that's why we like Rashbam. Esav is Pashat making a consideration. Present value versus future value. You've heard of that? Okay. It's in accounting and investments. Future value is the estimation of what you stand to gain. Give it a monetary value. Present value is what's worth now. Speculators say, I'll pay now for the chance to earn more later. And the person who's cutting his losses or selling right now says the money now, even though it's a smaller number, is worth more than a larger number later. Right? The present value is greater than the future value. Right? The potential value there. The speculators work on, let's say, the woman's ksuba. A woman could sell her ksuba. It doesn't mean she's selling a piece of paper, and now the buyer steps in as her role as the wife to her husband. It means that she stands to gain, let's say, 200 silver shekels upon the end of this marriage, as long as she's not at fault. That's what a ksuba is, right? But she sees none of that money now. As a matter of fact, if she predeceases her husband, or does something stupid, really stupid, and forfeits her ksuba, that money's gone, right? So she'll say, well, why don't I just take 50 shekels now from someone? There might be someone who's willing to pay 50 silver shekels today for the opportunity to earn 200 shekels sometime in the future. Okay, he's betting. It's basically gambling, Silver shekel. What does it matter? Zuz is a shekel. How many zuz is a shekel? How many? Yeah, 4 zuz. But which shekel? Yeah, it says you're right on ksuba masayim zuz. Does anybody really care about that anymore?
I don't know.
Yeah. The biblical shekel. They still use biblical shekels for pidyon to bed. The value of 5 times 19.2, and the half shekel is 9.6 grams. Why did this come up this week? I forget. But it's like you have to know how much a shekel is. Okay, so they just round up to 100. So that's the speculator. He pays now for what he could potentially get in the future. So Esav says, I'm going to die. The odds of getting the major inheritance from this old guy, who's, they come from a family of everybody lives forever. Terach died at the age of 205, right? Aram just died at the age of 175. How long can I expect Yitzchak to live? I don't expect to live that long. Better that I get whatever Yaakov's going to give me now in money for the right to inherit later. Okay? Now, it says that Esav then wants the bracha. Oh, the bracha is really important to him, right? And Esav actually says, he declares, V'amar Esav el libo, must be a prophet wrote this. What does he say? Vayistom Esav et Yaakov. Listom means he guarded hostility toward him, like Unkus. Okay? He begrudged him. Al ha-biracha asher be'ercho aviv, because the blessing that his father blessed him. It doesn't say al bechora, by the way. Why? That's lost already. What could he fix? Okay? And he says, Yikrivu yemei evel avi v'arga et Yaakov achi. I'll wait for the days of my father's mourning to arrive, and then I'll kill Yaakov. If, let's say, now he's actually waiting for Yaakov, building on or depending on Yitzchak dying. Before, he thought that he would die before Yitzchak. That was his whole calculation. Now he's betting on Yitzchak dying before him. If Yitzchak can go for another 57 years, let's say, which he will, that means Esav doesn't stand to get his inheritance back, right? Let's say even if he kills Yaakov, he's Yaakov's heir, right? But Yaakov could have a lot of children in the meantime, by the time Yitzchak's dead. And then Yitzchak will be dead. Esav will kill Yaakov. So all Yaakov's children will inherit whatever Yaakov had. Esav has is not planning to recover what he lost in terms of inheritance. So what's Esav trying to recover here? What's he told about killing Yaakov?
If Yaakov's dead, then there can be his brother ruling over him. No,
it's the bracha. And by the way, the bracha that he blessed him, which bracha? The bracha to Yaakov or the bracha to Esav? Because Kuni points this out, it's ambiguous. But either way, the bracha to Yaakov includes dominate Esav. The bracha to Esav includes you will be subservient to Yaakov. So both brachas put Esav on the bottom. What Esav's trying to accomplish is, if I kill Yaakov, then Yaakov cannot dominate me. That's what Esav's trying to accomplish. He's not trying to, steal back a bracha. He knows, like Yaakov, like Yitzchak said, if it was just like a monetary transaction, like, wrong bracha, Yitzchak could have easily said, anytime in the future, it was given a mistake, I'm, backsies, right? It was a mistake. Mekatos or something like that. But Yitzchak, the second he let it out, he said, it's not coming back. It was a declaration of fact. It was a nevuah. Nevuahs can't be withdrawn. Nevuahs aren't al t'nai, like that. Nevuahs are not transactional. Brachas are not transactional. Right? It's a nevuah. So Esav is upset basically of this situation that he is subservient to Yaakov, and that's why he wants to kill Yaakov. Okay? Not because of the Bechor necessarily, but because the brachas tell him that he's going to have to serve Yaakov, and if Yaakov is dead, he's not going to have to do that. That's basically what's going on here. So Esav always is trying to. He's a crybaby, and he doesn't know how to fix the situation. His wives are basically running the show, right? They were disobedient to Yitzchak and Rivka. That's what the pasuk says. So Esav says, I'll link up with Ishmael. We mentioned this a few times. So he thinks that I'll bring in Yishmael's wife, Yishmael's daughter as my wife, and then somehow that'll help. That'll make my parents happier. Didn't make the parents any happier, by the way, right? But not only that, this is replayed in history. Esav is like the Romans, the Western world, the dominant Western power. First, they brought in Canaanite women. That is, first Esav, his religion was pagan, right? Did that do him so well? Did that make God happy with him? Yitzchak represents what God wants. No, right? Romans, they weren't good at that, and it didn't really, the Jews, didn't accept their way of life. Jews had to resist them, and then Esav went to Ishmael. Esav adopted Christianity. Esav wants to, unite with the Muslim world, right? But what's happening? Basically, I know, but no. Esav el Yishmael means the Christians think they're going to go to Ishmaelites and say, like, you know what, join up with us against the Jews. You do the dirty work for us. But you know what's going to happen? Yishmael is basically going to take over. It's his daughter in the house, and she's going to run the house. She's going to dominate Esav also. Lama Dover Dome, the Islamist takeover of, let's say, London. London was, for a while, the capital of the Western world. Okay? The greatest Esav empire at the time was the British one. Their capital was London, and now it's already fallen, let's say, until the World Wars. The British Empire was larger and more powerful than the American Empire. The American Empire eclipsed the British Empire. Okay? So that was the capital, London. And now New York has been taken over by the Islamists also. Okay? Esav's greatest cities have been taken over by Ishmael. Esav thought he could bring in Ishmael into the picture, and Ishmael will help him. But really, and why? Ishmael will help him hurt Yaakov, but instead, what's happening is hurting Esav even more. Done for the wrong reasons. Okay, so Ishmael's worse for Esav than Esav is, but they're all united against Yaakov, and they're hurting each other. Okay, we're just something to think about there.